Hi guys, thank you for coming to Intro to HTV. This is my absolute favorite class to teach, mostly because I've taught it a bunch of times now at all the Pinners conferences, and also at another, the Let's Create Expo in Utah, if you were there. As a warning, if you have seen this presentation before, you already know all my jokes, so it's not going to be as funny as it is for hopefully other people. Also, this is going to be really hard because there's no one to laugh at my jokes, so thank you. Okay, so Chelsea's going to be our volunteer laugher today. She's going to be laughing from the corner so that I can judge like how well things are being received. If you think that something's funny or amusing, if you could please like put it in the comments so that I feel better about myself. That would really help my confidence right now. So the name of the class is Intro to HTV. I am Sarah Hudson and I'm here with Happy Crafters. So a couple things about me and my background. I grew up in a t-shirt shop, which was actually just our basement. So probably similar to the way a lot of you are running your businesses or how you're raising your kids. So I was 7 when we bought the business. It was a good time. We learned a lot of little things along the way for sure. So I tell people a lot, you know, our customer service here at Happy Crafters is based on a lot of my experiences growing up. So, you know, all the times that my mom was crying in the basement because, you know, the vinyl didn't work the way that it was supposed to, or when something was on back order, and the company wouldn't like refund it or reship us something else for free. Like things that really put us in a bind as a company, I've taken to heart, and that's why we treat you guys the way that we do. With that being said, this presentation is not a sales pitch. So I'm not here to get you on board with Happy Crafters Vinyl or teach you all about Happy Crafters Vinyl. I'm here to teach you about vinyl, period. I certainly welcome you to purchase from us whenever you want, but that's not what this is about. I'm just here to teach you how to use heat transfer vinyl. So my goal with this is that by the end of the presentation, if you haven't used heat transfer yet, that you'll be brave enough to give it a try. I promise it's not hard. And then if you have used it a couple of times, or maybe you don't like it, or you've had some issues with it, hopefully we can resolve some of those issues in the presentation and get you what you need to be competent with HTV. So with that, we are going to get started. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments, and then Chelsea can let me know, or we can save time and have a little Q&A after. Of course, it doesn't want to switch slides now. Hold on, let me back out. Chelsea, if I do it in presenter view, what can you see? The same exact thing?
I see that in the next slide.
In the next slide? What the heck?
Click the arrow button.
I did click the arrow button, Chelsea.
Click play from start.
I did play from start. Guys. Okay, I'm gonna do this in this way. Okay. So what is heat transfer vinyl? So I talked earlier about kind of my experiences growing up in a t-shirt shop. The vinyl that goes in craft cutters is the same exact material that t-shirt shops are using. So it's the same quality, it's the same process that other people are using, whether they have big t-shirt shops or small. The stuff that you're using and the process that you're following is exactly the same as what professionals are doing. So, you know, I go to a lot of shows and I'll ask people like, oh, do you have a cutter? And they'll be like, oh no, I just have a Cricut, or I just have a Silhouette. You don't just have a craft cutter, like you have a full vinyl machine or a vinyl cutter. It's absolutely capable of pretty much anything a larger machine is capable of. So roll with it. I mean, you can absolutely do anything. And the material is the same. So it's thin and pliable, available in many colors and finishes. So one time, the first time I did this presentation, it was Christmas themed. And I was looking for samples for everybody. So I Googled vinyl stockings, looking for Christmas stockings. And let me just tell you, that is a not safe for work Google search. because when people think of vinyl, they think of like pleather. So I'll let you make your own assumptions about what happened there. But it is not that. So it's not like pleather. We're talking about a very, very thin material. It comes in all kinds of finishes. Like I said, we have glitter, we've got holographic, metallic patterns, pretty much anything you can think of. And we're always coming out with more. I'm always seeing new entries to the market. Vinyl is definitely not going anywhere. So never fear if there's a color that you want and we don't have yet. I'm sure it's on its way. If you are watching this video, whether live or later, and you have a color that you would like to see added or even a type of vinyl, absolutely put it in the comments. We definitely check those. And we will work to make your dreams come true. Most of it can be layered. So vinyl has to be cut one color at a time. If you see a multi-layer design, or I'm sorry, a multicolor design, it was either a printed vinyl or it has been layered. So in terms of like, oh, I don't want to say Mickey Mouse, but let's just say Mickey Mouse. You know, getting that full color design, it's probably several different cuts layered on top of each other. If you can cut it, you can use it. Oh, sorry, back to must be layered, or most can be layered. Just make sure you're putting appropriate materials on the bottom. So most of your standard materials, such as standard, Craft Perfect, or a stretch material, anything like pretty basic looking can almost always go on the bottom. And then specialty finishes like glitter, holographic, that kind of thing, those usually can only go on top. So wherever you're buying vinyl from, they should be able to easily tell you which ones can go on the bottom and which ones can't. That's what we're really talking about, is like what can go on the bottom. So what can have stuff on top of it and it will actually stick. And don't be afraid to ask. You know, here we absolutely welcome questions like that. We want you guys to be successful. We find that you buy more vinyl if you're really successful at it. So we absolutely want you guys to get all your questions answered, and whoever you're buying vinyl from should be the same. So if you have questions about layering, definitely let us know.
Somebody asked about layering glitter, so can you just stress that again?
Yeah, absolutely. So with glitter, glitter is an on-top only material. And there are some companies that will tell you you can put it on the bottom, or there'll be people on the internet, because there's all kinds of people on the internet that will say like, oh, just increase your pressure, or just increase your heat and your pressure, one or the other. That's fine if they want to take that risk. It's not a risk that I would take in my business. It's not what it's meant for. The top layer of glitter is not meant to accept adhesive the way that some of the other materials are manufactured. So there are instances where something like, like curtains or something that's not going to be laundered, pillowcases, something that's not going to get a lot of wear and tear like clothes normally would. If you want to go ahead and do it on that, like trucker hats, something like that, that's probably fine because it's not going to get washed. But anything like a t-shirt or like a baby onesie, I really, if you're selling items especially, please don't put glitter on the bottom. So if you can cut it, you can use it. So one of the most common questions we get is, but I have this cutter made in the 1980s. Can I use your vinyl? So the answer is yes. I learn more about different kinds of cutters out there every time we go to a show. There's all kinds of really awesome cutters out there. The Pazzles is one I get a lot. K&K is another one. Sizzix has one. Obviously Cricut, Silhouette, Brother Scan and Cut. All kinds of cutting machines. So all you have to do is be able to cut it. That includes scissors or an X-Acto knife or, I don't know, something else sharp. Die cutting machines. So it doesn't even have to be an electronic die cutter like these machines. It can just be straight up old school, like that Cricut Cuttlebug, I think, is like an old school die cutter. Something like that is fine. The adhesive is activated by heat, so that's why it's called heat transfer vinyl. So when we talk about heat transfer, there are 3 things that we need to focus on. So one obviously is heat, one is pressure, and the other one is time. So we're looking for a perfect mix, or we call a recipe, of these 3 things. Now there are cases when you can accommodate or make up for one with the other. So like, okay, maybe you we're talking about using an iron. Like, okay, you can't get all that pressure, so we try to increase our time so we can make up for it. Or when we're layering, we don't want to do one for too long, so we increase our heat a little bit, something like that. So it is a recipe. Whoever you're buying vinyl should present you with the best recipe for the vinyl. From us, you can either find them on the website under the type of vinyl, or we put them in every package. So the thing to remember though is when you wash clothes every single time, think about what comes into the lint thing, the lint holder, lint catcher. When you pull that out and it's like full of lint, that's coming off your clothes every single time. So when we're applying heat transfer vinyl, we want to make sure that we're really sinking that adhesive down into the fibers, so that the next few times through the wash, or hopefully the whole time, every time it's washed, that it's not getting down far enough to lift off that vinyl. Now, if you use a heat press to apply vinyl, it should last the life of the garment, which is kind of mind-boggling. But like I said, I grew up in a t-shirt shop. I still have the second t-shirt we ever made. It's actually back in the office, and the vinyl is still on there. So that was like almost 20 years ago, and that heat transfer vinyl is still stuck to that shirt. The shirt's coming apart now. It doesn't quite fit anymore, so it hasn't been washed in a while, but the vinyl is still on it. So that's what we're looking for, and the key to that is getting that heat-activated adhesive sunk down in the fibers of the garment, or whatever it may be. So it comes on a sticky carrier. This is something, if you've used regular vinyl, this is a little different, or sign vinyl would be the other kind, but this vinyl is on the plastic carrier, which you can kind of see in this picture, this clear thing here. And on most types of heat transfer vinyl, this is kind of sticky. So if you're working with fine detail and something comes up, and trust me, it happens. Like I said, I've been doing this a while, and stuff comes up. We lose the dots to I's, or the periods or exclamation points, commas, that kind of stuff seems to disappear all the time for some reason. But the nice thing is you can just stick it back down. So this is kind of a new advancement in the past like 10 years, I would say, or at least one that we did not partake in my mom's shop. She loved a vinyl that did not come on a sticky carrier, and we had to keep a little thing of Aleene's craft glue down in the shop, so that when those I's and commas and periods inevitably lifted up, we could glue them back down. So this is much more advanced. So when something comes up, all you have to do is press back down, because that carrier is sticky. Now, you will see on here usually, so there are some specialty vinyls that don't have a sticky carrier. You'll often see that referred to as a static cling carrier. So just be on the lookout. If you see static cling carrier, that's what it means. It's not sticky. Once the vinyl comes up off of it, it's not going to go back down. It's not sticky. So one that we carry like that is shimmer. So the shimmer vinyl is not a sticky carrier, or pressure sensitive. You also might hear sticky referred to. That's the technical name. We usually call them sticky or not sticky, but the technical names are pressure sensitive for a sticky carrier and static cling for a non-sticky carrier. Whew. This stupid computer. I'm sorry, I'm not blaming you. Please don't hate me, computer. Okay. Why should you use it? So the number one is customization. So I like to call this, I like it, but I can't afford it. So you'll see over here in this lovely photo, we have this black bikini with dinosaurs on them. So our craft curator here, Abby, she likes bikinis, and she also happens to love dinosaurs. But there's not really a huge market for that out there apparently, because she had a really hard time finding a dinosaur themed bikini. However, she was able to make her own, and it looks awesome. Like, how classy is that dinosaur bikini? Which, by the way, the bikini was $8 on Amazon. So with, half a sheet of vinyl and an $8 bikini, we made a pretty awesome looking swimsuit. This one gets me in trouble a lot. I just got engaged, which is a miracle, because I swore my boyfriend was going to break up with me for not making him all the stuff that we saw while shopping that I wouldn't let him buy. So a lot of times we'll see stuff in the store and he's like, oh my gosh, I love this, let's get it. And I'm like, no, I can make that. It is easy, you are not buying it. We're not spending that money on that. The moral of the story is I never actually made it. So I saved us twice as much money when you look at it that way. Like we didn't buy the thing and I didn't spend money on the materials to make it. So, but you should make it. That's what I'm learning. Seriously though, it's a great way to customize stuff. I also love this because like people are weird, myself included, and everyone has that like one weird thing that they like that not a lot of other people like. So like in Abby's case, it's classy dinosaurs. For me, I'm obsessed with Trolls, the movie, and there is not a lot of adult-sized Trolls memorabilia out there, let me tell you. There's a lot of coffee cups, though. Like, who is giving their kids coffee?
It's like kids buying parents coffee cups.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
Yeah.
No, I'm going with mine.
Okay.
Parents are giving their kids coffee in Trolls cups. No, it's probably like for hot chocolate or whatever. But I have like a Trolls coffee cup collection. I just can't get any shirts. Anyway, there's always gonna be weird stuff like that. And people are always gonna be really hard to buy for. But if you can find that one thing and make them something, whether it be a t-shirt or a pillow or a bag, anything, a hat, something that like really shows that you were paying attention to them. And it could be like that kid that posts Harry Potter quotes on Facebook like every day anyway. You're like, oh hey, like I made you this Harry Potter hat, and that would be awesome. People absolutely love that kind of stuff, especially when it's hard to find. So if it's a sport that not a lot of people play, maybe it's lacrosse or rugby, or if it's a movie that no one's actually heard of, or a song lyric that you can put that on a shirt for someone, it's an absolute awesome gift.
So and just confirm that their children love coffee.
Oh, okay. Okay, girl. No shame. You give your kids all the coffee they want. I'm glad I'm not. Do they like Trolls too?
She didn't say. My parents gave me coffee as a child.
Okay. You grew full. You know, you're full size adult. So, personalization. So the big one is monogram everything. But seriously, as far as personalization goes, people will pay up to 30% more for a personalized item. And that is a quote I got off the internet somewhere. There's no source for it, but I believe it. And it really does make sense. You know, any of these items look really awesome, but if you could throw a name on there or a monogram or just initials, something special like that, you've taken an item that's super cookie cutter and take it to the next level. So a perfect example of this is Santa sacks, right? Like everyone's got to have a Santa sack now. I met a girl in Texas. She came to Painter's Conference last year and bought a pink press. She already had a cutter, and she bought a pack of 100 Santa sacks and went to her local craft show and set up. She took like 3 colors of vinyl, her cutter, and all of her Santa sacks. And that word sounds so weird. Do I have an accent? Santa sacks.
No.
Santa sacks.
I've seen customers selling them as other things because of it.
Oh yeah, it's like copywritten, but I'm not selling them, so they can't be mean to me, right? Oh, okay. Oh, it does sound weird. Yeah, I see why now. Someone called them Sandra sacks the other day I saw. Anyway, so she set up her cutter and her little 35-pound heat press and 3 colors of vinyl, and people could just come and tell her their kid's name, and she was selling those sacks, which she bought for $3 a piece, for $20 a pop. Like crazy margin. She had to pay for the space at the craft show, and she has other costs such as the vinyl. She has the cost of the press that she needs to pay off, that kind of stuff. But personalization, when as a parent, especially like when you see your kid's name on something, it really like makes a world of difference, and you're usually willing to pay more for it. So that's the people will pay extra part. You see these lovely oven mitts in here. So bridal showers and baby showers are actually like a conspiracy competition. This is like my huge theory. I'm gonna write a whole book on it probably and retire. But the real purpose of opening gifts in front of the other guests is so you can see who gave the best gift. Like that's the only reason people do that. So if you want to top the list at your next bridal shower or baby shower for best gift, you should personalize it or put a monogram on it or dinosaurs, whatever. The point is you can really take your gift giving to the next level with some pretty inexpensive vinyl. So it's worth it for that, if nothing else.
You have a question on, can you use an iron instead of a heat press?
Yes, you can use an iron. If you're just getting started and you want to play around with vinyl, I absolutely recommend an iron. If you missed the first slide or the second slide, we talked a little bit about the time, heat, pressure continuum, or the recipe. So when you can't make it up, when you can't get all three of those things perfect, we can compensate with another. So in an iron's case, it's really hard to get enough pressure. So on something like a standard vinyl on a heat press, we would just do between 10 and 15 seconds, and it would be completely applied and ready to go through the wash 50 times. If you're using an iron, you're not getting even pressure like this. We recommend like 30 seconds on each side, so turning it over and then applying on the other side too. Wherever you're buying from, again, should be able to provide you with iron instructions. So like some of our vinyl applies on the cotton setting and some applies on the linen setting. It just kind of depends. Also, how good is your iron is another question. My iron was $10 at Walmart, like on Black Friday. So you know that crap was like mass produced to be as cheap as possible. There's no way it's getting to 300 degrees. It hardly irons clothes. So it's definitely not getting hot enough. But nicer irons absolutely do. The main thing, we always want to try and get enough pressure. So we want to turn the steam off or dump all the water out of it. Water is not our friend when we're heat applying. And then you want to create a human heat press. So you want to push down and hold. So to prevent scorching, we just put either a piece of parchment paper or, I can't call this what it is. What is it? A reusable cover sheet. It's Teflon. I mean, if you have Teflon, they're not going to sue me. They might. Please don't sue me. It's the same material, basically. This is not branded, but the reusable cover sheet is like a silicone that you can put over it. And anyway, so put that over your garment, then put your iron on it. You want to put a ton of pressure on it. So if you're using an ironing board, don't use an ironing board, at least not up, because the pressure that you should be putting on it is going to collapse the board. So here we say like your arm should be kind of shaking with how much pressure you're putting on it. And also don't use natural stone countertop. So this is a really popular one, right? I mean, it's sturdy. It can take the heat. Seems like a really great idea, but that stone is just sucking the heat right out. So it doesn't have time to like sit and actually heat up the glue because the stone is just taking the heat. So it's not actually sitting in the shirt at all, or sitting in the vinyl. So like a wood surface is really good. And a lot of people like take just get like a wood cutting board to keep on hand just to do their heat pressing on. This bottom part, this is a silicone pad. If you have like the Cricut Easy Press, this is something that they were supposed to come with. I don't think they did. But something like this is a really good surface because it absorbs heat, but it like keeps it here. So we call this like a dwell. So the heat is just like sitting in here dwelling, and it's getting up underneath your vinyl and heating up from below too. It's really nice.
Last question before we move on.
Yes.
Is where do you buy that pink heat press?
Where do you buy this pink heat press? What a great question. happycrafters.com. We have a whole section of heat presses, and this little cutie is included. It's $2.99. Sorry, I said this wasn't going to be a sales pitch, but like you asked, so it's $2.99. It does have a full 1-year warranty. It's evenly heated edge to edge. So we'll talk about irons a little more here in a minute. But even edge to edge heating is really important. It's also completely flat, so there's no cold spots, no warping. And if anything happens to it in that time, we will take care of you. So you know the people that you bought it from and that we are going to take care of you. Why? Because I don't want my mom crying, and I wouldn't want you crying either. We'll just keep doing this manually since this computer does not want to cooperate. Oh, dang it. Seriously? Okay, sorry. So the first thing, like we see all these beautiful, super overwhelming projects on Pinterest, right? Like I love Pinterest, but my God, can it be overwhelming to look at all this beautiful stuff people have done? And here's the thing, it's because they got paid to do it. This is probably gonna blow your mind. People are literally paying other people to make stuff on Pinterest. You could just walk normally, Caitlin, that's fine. Caitlin's over here like T-Rex walking to get to the kitchen so she doesn't interrupt the thing, and she probably ended up making a bigger deal than had she just walked. Anyway, so Pinterest can be really overwhelming because you're seeing these like really professional pieces that people got paid a lot of money to make. For us, when we see that, the first thing we need to think of is how do we design that? So when you are designing, consider these things. The first point I want to touch on is small details. So a lot of people, not a lot of people, but occasionally I'll see people that are like, oh, I just got my cutter. I wanted to do this sugar skull design with like all this detail, and I tried it and it was a mess and I hate it and I never want to use vinyl again. So I want to prevent that from happening. So things to consider is that small details mean more time. So you're gonna might have to slow down your cutter a little bit to avoid eating. A very smart person once told me that a cutter is a very simple machine. It does exactly what you tell it to do. So whatever lines are on your screen, it's going to cut. However, when we're trying to go around turns and such, we may be at max capacity for how fast it can turn those curves, depending on what speed you have it set at. So you might want to just slow down the cutter if you're finding that it's not making all its cuts, or if you're seeing stuff kind of pulled up, you might want to slow it down a little bit. The more cuts it needs, the longer it's going to take. So that's just the name of the game. A circle is a lot faster to cut out than something like a sugar skull. There's just more cuts to make. A rhinestone design takes forever to cut. There's all those tiny little circles. It takes a long time. Longer weed time. So weeding is what we call when we are removing the excess vinyl from our sheet. So think of like weeding a garden. We're just taking the weeds out. What we want left is the flowers, which in this case is our design. So we're just taking the weeds out. It takes longer if there's more of it to do. There's also a greater chance of error in small designs in cutting or weeding. I am not telling you this so that you don't do small designs, but I do want you to have a good idea of what you're getting into, especially when you're first starting out. Try some bigger stuff first or some less detailed stuff before you agree to make like 50 Christmas bulbs for someone. It's definitely going to be a lot of tiny work, which would be regular vinyl, by the way. But anyway, however, when people find out that you do vinyl, it is inevitable that your cousin's sister-in-law's niece is going to call you at 10 p.m. and say, oh my God, it's little Johnny's, Dr. Seuss Day at school tomorrow, and he doesn't have a shirt and he's crying. Like, can you please make us a shirt? So your mind should go back to this slide and be like, yes, I can make you a thing one shirt. No, I will not make you a one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish shirt. So just think about time constraints. And also, when you're pricing your vinyl, if you're going to be selling stuff, think about time that goes into it. If there's one mistake that probably every crafter makes, it's that they aren't charging enough for their work. So please, please, please charge. Oh my gosh, this thing. Okay, designing. Is that the next one? It is, sorry. Designing sounds hard. So my favorite way to really take a design to the next level, even if it's just something super simple like a heart or a flower or whatever it may be, is fonts. The perfect font can make such a difference. And this is why I will spend like an hour picking out a font when I could be doing pretty much anything else. But seriously, I really think a font can make all the difference in a design. You can download or purchase fonts. So our favorite place to download fonts for free is dafont.com. So a couple things you want to be wary of on Dafont. A lot of the fonts there are for personal use only. So there's a couple popular ones on there, like your Harry Potter font, your Disney font, your Coca-Cola font, all those big ones are on there. And there's a lot of really nice script fonts too, a lot of the handwritten stuff. But that stuff is for you. So you can use it, you can make yourself a shirt or something, but you cannot sell those items. You can usually purchase the commercial rights on there. So it'll say like, this is free for personal use. If you want to download, or if you want to purchase the commercial rights, here's where you should go. And they'll give you a link to buy. But as a rule of thumb, those are only for personal use, unless they really specifically say. Now, the Hungry JPEG is my favorite place to buy fonts. We usually get like a bundle of them, usually at the beginning of every month or right at the end of the month. They'll start posting the new bundle for the month. And they usually have like 100 fonts for like $20. I mean, it's a great bargain. And these fonts all come with commercial rights. Sometimes there's other stuff in there too, like cut files, graphics packs, other like mock-up files. But all those fonts come with commercial rights, so you don't have to worry about it. If you're selling your product, you need commercial rights. Now, do I know of anyone who has been sued for using a font that they don't have commercial rights to? No, I do not. Do I want to risk my business on something like that? Absolutely not. We don't even sell finished products here. All we do is, we make sliders for our website, or we make graphics for Facebook for you guys to see. I'm still not willing to risk someone seeing that we use their fonts and didn't have the commercial rights for it and then coming back and trying to sue us. It's not worth it, I promise. Especially when on the Hungry JPEG you can get a ton of fonts for $20. And they have single fonts you can buy too. They're usually like $5. And they have a free file of the week too, so check on those. But like I said, I really recommend, if you're going to be selling it, sleep peacefully at night by knowing that all the stuff that you're selling, you have commercial rights for. This goes for files too, cut files you see online. Fonts with adjustable prefixes and suffixes, or glyphs, as you'll often see them referred to. So the most popular one is the Samantha font. A ton of people own the Samantha font. So if you look at the Samantha here, so the first S in Samantha, you can see how it wraps around and then kind of loops once and comes back into the first part of the S. And then if you look at swashes down at the bottom, the last word, it's a totally different S. So we have two capital S's, but they're completely different. And it's all considered one font. Like, it's definitely still the same font. They look the same. They just have a bit of a different touch to them. And you can see like that cool thing below the L. And even in the featuring or the announcement, there's some really cool stuff going on. So those are called glyphs. So when you buy a font like this, it may actually come with 10 fonts. So like Samantha, Samantha 1, Samantha 2, or Alternative 1, Alternative 2, or something like that. Or Samantha Alternative. And then you just highlight the letter that you want to change. So in this case, it would be the S, and then scroll down through the other options in the font till you get to a style that you like. So something like, some of these letters you wouldn't want like at the end or the beginning, like just because of the way they are. Like the S at the end of swashes, you wouldn't want that in the middle of a word because it has, a loop-de-loop on it. So it's really best for editing like the first and last letter of a word. Or for doing those cute little things like featuring or the and sometimes they're actually like little individual pieces. Like it may say like you're invited, and like that's a letter basically. That's probably really confusing. We actually have a whole class coming up on glyphs. Chelsea, do you know when that class is? I think it's like in February actually. But it is coming up, technically speaking. So stuff like this, once again, can really increase the snazzy factor of your file or of your design. And it's really easy to do, and it can be really inexpensive, especially if you go with a graphics pack off of the Hungry JPEG. And it makes it look really handwritten, so that's definitely in right now. I think we're seeing the height of handwritten fonts right now. I don't know what's going to be next. I'm excited to see. But for right now, you You know, people want those hand-painted design, or those hand-painted signs, stuff like that, that looks handwritten. So you can do it with some adjustable prefix or suffix fonts. A lot of Facebook groups have font lists. So we'll touch a little bit on Facebook groups again in the next slide. A lot of them, they used to be like more helpful places. I think now people have gotten angry in Facebook groups. They're not as nice as they used to be, unfortunately. But they definitely get tired of people asking what fonts are. So, which is kind of a bummer that they're mean, but at the same time, to combat this, they have created full font lists. So ones that they've seen get asked often, they have like a whole little sheet with an example of the font and what the name of it is, so that you can easily see which one you want or find new ones to download. So check those out. Now you have to exit and go to the next one because this thing doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, so designing sounds hard. So Pinterest is a great place to go for files and for fonts, really. You know, if you get on Pinterest and search free Silhouette file or free SVG, you'll get a ton of resources on there. Just once again, watch out because some of them say free for personal use and some will say, you know, commercial rights included. So be careful. Watch blogs for free files also. So a lot of bloggers want more traffic to their website so they can charge advertisers like us more money, which is great for you because they often give you free stuff to get you there. So what is it?
We also give out free.
Oh yeah, we do too. We give out free stuff because we want you to come see us too. So a lot of the times, whatever blog that we're doing, we usually give you the files for that. And we do like special releases. So for like Pumpkin Spice Day, we did some free pumpkin spice latte files. We just did some Thanksgiving ones. You can check our Facebook page or you can check our blog for more details on those and see which files you want, and you can download them for free. As far as bloggers go, Silhouette School, if you have a Silhouette, I highly suggest that you follow Silhouette School on Facebook and also visit her blog, which is silhouetteschoolblog.com. A ton of great resources. When people call us and ask us something Silhouette related that I don't know the answer to, that's where I go to get the info. Create and Babble is also a really good one. And the Pinning Mama, I think the Pinning Mama also has some Cricut stuff too. So it's harder to find Cricut bloggers. Who's the one? Damask Love. She has some really good stuff. I don't know that she necessarily has free files. But yeah, they're a little harder to find. Facebook groups are an awesome place to find free files. These three right here are three of the biggest. I think they each have over 100,000 people. So Cricut Design Space, Silhouette Cameo Creations, and Silhouette Cameo Project Inspiration. Once again though, a lot of these people have been doing this for a long time. They've seen a lot of stuff. They can get a little frustrated. So just make sure you read their rules at the top of the page. And I would recommend just like searching through if you have a question to see if someone like just asked it recently. And a lot of times they will encourage you to Google something before you ask a very beginner question in the group. There are groups aimed at beginners that I would definitely recommend if you haven't used vinyl at all, or if you just got a cutter or you're thinking about getting a cutter, try to find some that are more beginner friendly. Because some of these aren't. Cricut Design Space actually is really good. They're really nice people. I really like them. Here we go. Okay, so let's say you really want to do something crazy. I don't know. You really want to do a mermaid, and you've been having a hard time trying to design it yourself, and you can't find any free resources for it. Do not feel bad about purchasing designs, okay? Do not let any crafter make you feel like you are not as good of a crafter because you want to purchase a design. I have been doing this for a while. I started out in CorelDRAW. I can do all kinds of crazy stuff, but there are some times when I just don't want to. I also really like supporting other creatives. So whenever I can, if someone has, you know, like this file bundle is like $2 or whatever it is, why would I try to recreate something similar when I can save a lot of time and just get the design from them and support them and the work they've put into designing it? So even if that's not the case, don't let anyone make you feel bad about buying designs, okay? You can save a lot of money that way, and Silhouette and Cricut both have a lot of people, they're paying a lot of money to make some really cool designs, and you should take advantage of it. And they have sales on them sometimes. So Silhouette Store, for your silhouette, integrated right into your software. You can just go to store, purchase designs, they come right over. Same with Cricut Design Space. You can purchase even fonts in there if you want, or designs. Etsy is a great place for files. Like I said, a lot of people have really, really awesome designs on there. Like if you want like an Aztec monogram pumpkin, there's probably like 1,000 of them on there. So if you're looking for something really weird, you can get on there and check it out. Also, if you see something that you like on Etsy, or if you're looking for something in particular, often you just message a seller and be like, hey, can you do something like this for me? And they'll probably help you out. So think about that. Once again, bloggers. So some bloggers are also selling some designs that they have. One is Poofy Cheeks. She has a really cool blog. Totally check her out, and on Facebook. But you can also buy some of her files, which are really cool. Designbundles.com is another one, which is similar to the Hungry JPEGs. Those two kind of go hand in hand. They are both coming out with designs now that are really cool. They've been doing a really good job. Also, you can purchase designs at happycrafters.com. We have some cool ones as well. If you are purchasing from one of these third parties, though, make sure you're getting a usable file format. So if you have a silhouette and you purchase a file in Silhouette Studio, you're fine. It's definitely going to work. However, if you have out of the box Silhouette Studio and you have not upgraded to Silhouette Designer Edition or Business Edition, then you cannot import an SVG file. So don't buy an SVG file because you won't be able to use it. However, I do recommend upgrading to the designer, or really to the business edition now especially. But I haven't on my computer, so I don't expect you to. That just means that I can't buy SVG files. So just make sure, especially on Etsy when you're buying them, make sure they're offering it in a it's a dot studio, or something that you can use. So, or if you're a Cricut user, make sure you're not buying dot studio files. Really wish this laptop would work. That would just be peachy keen. Okay, so script font. Fonts were never meant to be cut. So when people were designing fonts, they're not thinking about us out here cutting them. They're thinking about them being printed. So if this font was all one color, you would never know that it has this overlap. But when we're cutting it, once again, a cutter is a simple machine. Does exactly what you tell it to do. It sees these overlaps and it cuts them because that's what it does. I was literally just at a 4-H meeting. I'm a volunteer, not a camper. But I was at a 4-H meeting last week, and it was in this church basement, and someone had made a tray for them, and it was really cute. It had like Goshen Baptist Church on it. It was really cute, but the person did not weld. I could see it, which probably no one else ever noticed but me. But still, you can tell on stuff. So you just want to make sure that you weld. It's really easy. Just go up to Object, modify weld.
It also makes it easier to weed.
Yeah, it makes it easier to weed as well. It just should be done. It definitely should be done. Script font weld. Yeah, that's what it says. Okay. So we are assuming now that your whole design is ready to go. So now we need to mirror the design. This is kind of our last step in the design software before we send to cut. So if you have a silhouette, this is Object, Mirror, Flip Horizontally, or you can right click on it and hit Flip Horizontally. And then on a Cricut, you have a fancy little button. So here's the Cricut one. Flip. And then on here, like I said, you just go to Object, Mirror, or right click it. So when we are using vinyl, we're actually, the side that we are cutting into is the glue side. So that side that we're cutting into, we're gonna flip over and apply on the t-shirt or whatever it is. So we wanna make sure that we mirror our design so that it's not backwards. Oh, heavy piece of message. So the next thing you want to do is load our vinyl. So shiny side down. You can see in this picture, this is the shiny side. we're putting it down on the mat. Over here is the dull side. It's going to be face up. It's dull because it has glue on it. This is shiny because it has a plastic carrier on it. So we're going to cut through this glue and then remove the excess vinyl, flip it over, and apply heat to this plastic carrier. Once we're done, we will yank that off. So shiny side always down. If you have a specialty material, like some of the metallics kind of look shiny on both sides sometimes, just grab your weeder or whatever you're using, a pick tool or tweezers, and just kind of sink it down into a corner just to see which side is soft. The shimmer, actually, our shimmer vinyl is really thin and it's hard to figure out which side is which, so just kind of grab a corner to see which side comes up. So the side that comes up goes up. That's really confusing. The side that's not plastic. Plastic goes down. Don't be afraid to utilize your grid for maximum scrap use. So the grid, to me, is like the coolest part of a craft cutter. Like I said, growing up, we had a big cutter. It's not that big. It's only 20 inches. But anyway, 24 inches. Even now, people that have big cutters, t-shirt shops, I highly recommend that they get a craft cutter because they can start utilizing their scraps. Whereas before, those big t-shirt shops and such, if they had a small piece that they cut off of an order or, off of a larger run, it was basically trash. They were losing a lot. But now you can grab a craft cutter for, $250 and use the mat to cut them. So your grid on your computer when you're designing is going to match exactly what you cut. So use that grid. You can put more than one color on there and cut them out all at the same time. Just make sure it's a similar material. So you can't cut, glitter and standard at the same time because you need different cut settings for those two. And they are not interchangeable. Those two are not. So this might be the scariest part, but all you have to do is cut. So make sure, in the Silhouette now, on the 3, we have an auto blade, which is awesome. However, it doesn't read the material. So you still need to tell the Silhouette what kind of material you're cutting. So we have a lot of people, not a lot of people, but occasionally people can't figure out why the Silhouette's not cutting. That's usually sometimes the answer is that you still need to tell the cutter what you're cutting to have that auto blade adjust. And that's when it comes over and it's like, and it feels like it's an hour long, like sitting there going through the blade settings. But it's way easier than having to ratchet it yourself. So whatever you have, hit the cut button. And now I will back out to go from this. This is annoying. Okay, so the next step after it's cut, you want to weed it. So you can see here in this photograph, we're just pulling that vinyl away from the carrier and leaving our design down, which in this case is a name. It's really easy, but you do want to be careful, like I said, with your small detail especially, just go slow. You can see you can kind of see from the back of this person's hand, the weeder sticking out. Just keep one handy so that if something starts to pull up, you can just squish it back down real quick. That sticky back will save you. And if you don't have a sticky back, then Aleene's Crafty Glue can save you. Speaking from experience. How does it work? So now we have our design, we cut it out, we weeded it, and now it's time to apply. This picture, I should mention, I took off the Cricut Facebook page, so I'm giving credit to them right now. They cannot sue me. Anyway, this is the Cricut Easy Press over here on the right side of this photo, and then you have an iron on the left. And I stole this mostly for this iron picture. You can see here it's only getting as hot as you think it is right here, which is fine if you're ironing clothes, right? Because you're moving it across the garment. But for what we're doing, we need steady, even heat and pressure. So even if we're getting like the best pressure ever, we're only getting good heat right here in this tiny little portion, which isn't even the widest part of the iron. This is not to say that every iron is like this, But this is a super common problem, is that we're not getting even heat and pressure with an iron. Something such as the Cricut Easy Press or a heat press is heated edge to edge, usually. So the good ones are. So we don't have to worry about this variance like we're seeing over here. This is a 200-degree variance. And once again, you can see on here, thank you Cricut for producing this graphic, that there's no pressure setting and no timer on an iron, whereas the Cricut Easy Press does. To me, pressure is still number one. We talked earlier about how you have to sink the glue into the fiber. That is still super important. You can have we talk about that continuum, right? And we can make up for heat with time and vice versa, but nothing can make up for pressure. So we have to sink the glue down into the fibers of the garment to get it to stay for a long time. So if we are ironing, we want to try to mimic a heat press by holding on tight and pressing down hard. Don't be afraid to touch it up. So you may start to peel it up and a little bit comes up. It's okay. Try to get if some more of it is staying down, go ahead and get the carrier off while you can, and then cover it back up with parchment paper or with a reusable cover sheet, and hit it again. So that includes, like, if you run it through the wash and part comes up, go ahead and iron it back down. It may not last forever, but it's definitely going to last more than not at all. You should be able to get a few more washes out of it. Just once again, as much pressure as you can get. Small space hair straightener. So if you're doing something, Chelsea, my laugh audience back here, did some shoes with a hair straightener. There's some other little spaces you can do with a hair straightener. Also, those tiny little craft irons are super cute. You can use those as well. Stuff like that. It helps to have a hair straightener. Okay, so this is gonna be really annoying. This isn't working right. Can you please just work? Please. It's not gonna work. Okay, so now we're gonna go through all the different stuff that you can make. So the basics, it does not have to be hard to look nice. So once again, it's really easy to get overwhelmed on Pinterest with all these crazy people, crazy talented people making all this really awesome stuff. However, it does not have to be that hard to look really awesome and professional. You have these images over here from Pinterest that are just super simple black and white silhouettes. They look awesome. They have a really like rustic farmhouse vibe with a little bit of humor, which is my favorite. And then on the right here, this is from the Shabby Creek Cottage. You have this DIY tea towel. I never think about putting like regular vinyl on pattern, but I love the look of this. Super simple design, really simple font too. That just looks like $1 million on here. Okay, I wouldn't pay quite that much, but it looks really good with not a lot of effort. So when we talk about things that can be switched out really quickly and easily. So pillow covers are awesome. You can switch them out for every holiday or for every season or for every month or for every week, whatever floats your boat. But they're really simple to change out. They don't take up a lot of space for storage, so you can very easily, have different holiday pillows or whatever it may be. In this case, we have 3 here. So this welcome pillow is flock. These succulents, Caitlin likes me to point out for her. We bought them at IKEA, and if they die, she gets fired. So she cares very much about keeping them healthy, and she does a really great job at it so far. Winter is coming though, so we'll see how long the succulents and Caitlin's job last, but we all have high hopes for both. So we also have this one over here. This is our Hello Pillow. This is our most pinned, most talked about, most anything project we've ever posted. This is also the Shabby Creek Cottage. That's our gold medal shine. And it was on a BuzzFeed article once, so Happy Crafters is basically famous. People were ever like, where do you get your vinyl from? You can be like, the place it was on BuzzFeed, duh. Anyway, The Thankful Pillow. This is a free file you can get from us. Thanksgiving is coming up. Holiday parties are another case of people competing with one another to see who can have the best presentation. So whatever holiday that your family gave you, you better have it decorated really nice. Pillowcases are a great way to up the ante on holiday decorations. This one again is our Shine product, and that's just a burlap pillow. Table runners. I love table runners. I think this is such a cool idea. The one in the left corner, this thank you for the food before us, food beside us, and love between us. This is actually off Zulily. I don't even think it's a vinyl, but it totally could be, and that's the point of this. And it's super cute. How awesome would that be at your Thanksgiving table? Tell your sister-in-law to step it up. This one's also really cute. Just really simple designs that take it to a whole new level. And these cute little snowflakes. Once again, not hard, but just really take, you know, a $10 Walmart table runner and make it look really expensive. Tea towels are another super easy one. This one on here is actually stenciled with fabric ink. These are vinyl. And this one, I don't know, I got it off Pinterest. I really like funny sayings, so you'll see a lot of those through this presentation. But once again, tea towels are super easy, super quick. Curtains, these are both actual vinyl. Curtains are another one that, like, if your kid has that weird hobby or like interest, like trolls, for instance. Trolls is actually really easy to find right now if you're a kid. There's all kinds of memorabilia out there for you. But like, for instance, if I tell my fiance that we're redoing our room and I would like to have trolls curtains, I might need to make those myself. So heat transfer vinyl is a really easy way to help you get a more cohesive design or change the look of a room really quickly if you're not a lot of money. Also, white curtains are really cheap. Decorated curtains or pattern curtains are not as cheap. So you can really take them up to the next level with just a little bit of heat transfer vinyl. Can you see those from the camera?
No.
I need to take a picture of them and put them in here. We have some in our office that Caitlin did. She just put our logo all over the curtains. She did these huge curtains all with this 9.5 or 9 by 12 heat press, and they look awesome. Did it reach? Oh my gosh, are you showing them right now? Oh my gosh, that's really exciting. Okay, shower curtains. I love this one. This monogram one. First of all, how classy does that look? Like, you could put it in your bedroom and feel really classy when you go to shower, or you could put it in your guest bedroom and make your guests feel like you are really rich and bought a monogram shower curtain. This one's actually embroidered, but heat transfer vinyl is cheaper, easier, and faster, and it looks pretty much just as good, especially on something like this. This one is a little yellow submarine. Like, how cute is that? Once again, if your child is obsessed with the Beatles and you can't find a classy yellow submarine shower curtain, you can just make your own. This other one, this is legitimately vinyl. This is a Caesar blog. This lady is a saint and applied all these sayings to the shower curtain. And I think she may have gotten tired of it because this side over here is pretty bare. But this, I can't imagine how much time she spent cutting and weeding all this. She is a saint. But still a super cute idea if you have that kind of patience. So gifts galore. We talked a little bit before about stuff that, if you have someone, it's hard to buy for. Heat transfer vinyl was perfect. It's also perfect for selling to people. This one right here, this primping ain't easy. How cute is that for someone like a hairstylist or someone that does makeup? Like, what a cute little bag for them to carry their stuff around in. That is also a free file, right? Is that up on? Oh no, you have to purchase the Crafty palette. So when you buy the Crafty palette, which has 10 sheets of metallic vinyl in it, it does ship for free, and 4 of those are rose gold. You also get free files. There's also some other freebies in there too, but that file comes with those. This one over here, Love the Wine You're With. This, like these, excuse me. These wine bags are super cheap. You could just keep a whole box of them stockpiled at your house, and then anytime anyone invites you over for any reason, like for a dinner party or for whatever, you could just throw on a quick wine bag and be done. You know, just have their name on it. It'd be totally personalized. It could be holiday related, and you'd be the best gift giver ever. Put wine in it first, actually. Make sure it's full when you give it to someone, but seriously, super cute gift idea. This alpaca dress is also awesome. Did Alicia, has she ever worn this dress here? I've never seen it. Alicia made this here. This is also a dress from Amazon that was really cheap. I think it was like $5. It did take like a month to get here though, I will say. And this is a cute little nursing one. This is one that one of our crafters actually sent us that she did. And nurses are a great one. Nurses, doctors, you know, anyone in the service industry like that, police, firemen, they're all really proud of what they do, as they should be, and they wear it with pride. So they're a great one to give gifts for that, you know, incorporate what they're passionate about. Gifts galore. So, oh look, Chelsea, your thing's on here. This is, you can put heat treats right on leather, absolutely. This is a cute little notebook, would be a great gift. This is actually the logo for Chelsea's business, so it would be a great gift for someone, you know, that has a business. You know, it's a really classy item, or for, you know, if she could give a client something like this. So if you want to do some branding of your own with your logo, you can very easily do something like this for inexpensive and then give them away. Towels, yes, you can put heat transfer on towels. This is actually a 2-color, this is a layered design, and then we have our little glitter heart up here and our glitter name. Once again, a pattern design with regular vinyl over top of it, and the bling is glitter. And then this one's Craft Perfect. This was the first thing Caitlin ever made here. And that's, see how much smaller the succulents were there? You probably can't tell, but they were smaller. Those $3 IKEA succulents have grown. Okay, blanks. So the first thing people are gonna say is, oh my gosh, why are you talking about my Vinyl Direct? They sell vinyl and you sell vinyl. Yes, that is true, but I still buy blanks there because they're really good. Look at this burlap garden flag, it's only $5. They have some really cute, trendy blanks. They have a ton of burlap. Some stuff they have really good pricing on. Some stuff you can find cheaper elsewhere. But when I need something like specialty, I know that they'll have it in a blank. So I highly recommend checking them out for blanks and then coming to Happy Crafters to get your vinyl. But regardless, they have some cool blanks, and I will give credit where credit is due. Amazon is a great place to get blanks. We do tea towels during our trade show classes. We get them for $1 each on Amazon. We buy them in bulk, super cheap. 24-hour wristbands. If you are buying koozies, you need to be buying them from 24hourwristbands.com, okay? Super cheap. You want to try to get to 100 because the price drops dramatically. But they'll let you mix and match colors. And you can see on here they have like the coffee wraps, they have zippered bottles, they have some more solid stuff, but the blank collapsible is the best one. It's the easiest and the cheapest. So you can get them down to like 20 cents a piece if you buy enough of them. They have all different colors, really cool trendy colors too. And you can, like I said, you can mix and match those colors to get to the number to get the bulk discounts. It's really not hard. And they're very, very cheap. Oriental Trading is another one. Check them out. They may not have it. They just kind of vary in how useful they are. But I've seen like pot holders, hot pads, whatever you call those, on there. and they are cheap. So, and one thing we don't have on here for some reason, or which, like how I said like I didn't make the PowerPoint, and I'm not the only one that edits it, but shirts aren't on here. So a couple that we like, first of all, Happy Crafters will be offering garments very soon, I hope. Hopefully within like a month and a half. Chelsea, please? No, don't? Okay. So a couple, until we can sell them to you, we really like sanmar.com, which is SANMAR.com, and ssactivewear.com. And those both, you do need to have a tax ID, so you have to be a registered business to use either one of those. Okay. Don't let anyone dull your sparkle. If anyone tells you that you monogram too many things, stop talking to them, because you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. That is basically all I have. It's a super broad kind of outlook overview of heat transfer vinyl. This presentation could last like 3 hours. Actually, I used to teach this as a 2-day class, so it can last a long time. Like I said, I know it's not going to answer every question that you have about heat transfer vinyl, but I hope that you know enough now, or that you're excited enough now about some of the examples and some of the things that we mentioned, that you are motivated to go try it yourself and play around with it and see what you like. Everyone's going to find like those 3 fonts they always go back to that are their favorites. But if you have any questions about what you saw, do we have any other questions in the...
We have a few on pricing, but I think it would be best to send them the ebook.
So we had some pricing questions. We have a craft show ebook that kind of has a chapter on pricing. So like Chelsea said, we will send you that. She'll reach out to you after the broadcast and get that to you. It's free. Pricing is fun though. We did have someone in the group today too mention pricing. Growing up, we messed around some with decorating stuff people brought to us, and then it only took a couple times of messing up a shirt that someone else bought that we couldn't replace for them and couldn't fix before we stopped allowing that. The other issue is that when you're selling decorated items, a lot of the money that you're making is in the perceived value of the item. So if you can buy a t-shirt for $3, decorate it and sell it for $15, that's better than someone bringing you a $10 shirt and asking you to decorate it for $5. So there's there's $7 difference there. So as often as you can, I know people make exceptions. You also don't know what that shirt's been through, what that garment's been through. Has it been laundered? Does it have fabric softener in it already? Stuff like that. So please be careful. I would recommend a policy like that where you just don't decorate anyone else's stuff. If you don't know where it came from or what it's been through, I wouldn't touch it. You don't want to risk your name. Also, it's the most important thing that you have is your business name, and you don't want to risk it with something like that. So that's my recommendation. Obviously, people have different things that work for them. Some people charge even more. They charge like $15 for someone to bring them the item, depending on what it is. That's fine. But like I said, I highly recommend don't print on other people's stuff, because you will regret it at one point. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'll be in there answering some, as well as Chelsea later. You can also message us on Facebook. You can text us, just give the number on the website, or you can email us hello@happycrafters.com. Thank you guys so much.